when the pandemic first started, we were right away, it was, how are we going to keep up the level of communication that we need to? And I, for one, never really saw that this was necessarily going to change much, except that we wouldn't be able to see each other face to face. We have so many communication tools out there, so many ways of being able to stay in contact, that really it was just a need to redirect. The ability to okay, well, we can't meet, but we can pick up a phone, we can have a virtual call. Every single phone that is walking around nowadays has a camera on it. You can still see that person. You can have the FaceTime, the face-to-face call without actually being face-to-face. And long before the pandemic, when I was a resident engineer, there were times I was managing or administering 6 projects at the same time. And I would have an inspector who would call me with an issue. And I was 3 hours away at another project and was unable to go there. And I would just right then and there be like, okay, let's FaceTime, point your camera at it, I can see, and we can try and figure something out. If I still can't see it from there, I'll be there, in 4 hours. But the number of times of just getting somebody to stand there, whether it's their iPad or their phone, and they're just holding it, pointing the camera, you can still fix a problem. So it was that shift though of people understanding that, okay, I can do this, even if it's not in person. So for everybody's safety, and then going back to this, working together, communicating to work together for a better world, and having a bigger understanding of what is needed for everybody. That shift to just doing telecommunication, video communication was that was the biggest hurdle. Once we got past that hurdle, we've actually found that in the last 4 or 5 months, we've had a level of communication with our partners that has gone from here to here, because we've had so much more communication, because now you also don't have people that have to travel from Southern California every quarter to do a big statewide, partnering meeting. You can have a weekly phone call for a half an hour. So we've become more efficient. We've actually become more connected, and we are being more effective in our partnering simply by the fact that when you've done this shift to technology, this shift to telecommunication, it's really easy to be able to have a way more frequent and consistent communication. And then just on a project, when thinking of it from headquarters, from a statewide or program perspective, we would meet with industry every quarter, and you'd have a 4-hour meeting and there's all this stuff. But on a project, they meet every week. They meet daily. You're taking care of stuff all the time. It's I look back on it, and it's interesting that it took something like this for us at headquarters even to do the same thing that we're having the projects do. So how the world works and how these things shift around, but it's always finding that and moving forward. And we have actually found that while this is a struggle, it's a time of uncertainty. It's 5 months in, 6 months in at this point, and we don't still have some kind of end in sight that we can really put a pin on. But in a lot of respects, especially from the partnering aspect, it's actually made us stronger. We have become more productive than we were prior to this, which is, it's interesting how the world works, that it takes something that you just think is going to be so blockading, that suddenly opens up, a whole new door, and you've got a way more innovative, efficient, and productive path ahead of you.